students, the another topic in the advanced surveying is the global positioning system, right? So simply in our local normal languages, okay, people used to say this is GPS, right? So it is the one of the basic and most useful kind of surveying method, right? So that in our mobile phone, even nowadays, we are going to use the GPS in our smart mobile phone, so that we are going to see the location of a particular place or location of a particular mobile phone, and you can track the any what is called equipment, or what is called electronic gadget, right? So you can see the length of the traveling, right? So everything is going to see with help of this kind of technology, right? So this is the technology which is works based on the satellites, right? Which is going to be placed in the orbits in the what is called space, okay? The satellites which are going to be revolve around the earth. With help of those satellites, we are going to get our position, right? Every time from our mobile phone or any instrument, okay? So GPS instrument also will be there. So from there, the data is going to receive from the satellite. That satellite is going to tell what is your longitude and latitude, right? So what is your position on Earth? So that we are going to get your exact location, okay? So this technology is called. That's why we are going to find position, right? Where you are there, right? We are going to get your position on globally. That's why it is a global positioning system. Simply, we can call it as GPS, right? So let us see. These are some of the instrument. Okay, this is this GPS instrument. It is designed for separately for mapping purpose only. It is going to give you your travel and your location where boat is there, camp is there, trail is there, where your car is located, and even you can use your mobile phones, Google Map and other Google Earth features, right? So where it is going to tell the exact map and location. Okay, so everything based on this where you located. Okay, so next we can see. Okay, another kind of instrument which is going to work directly from the satellite without any network, right? This is called GPS receiver, right? So where you have this kind of coordinates and mapping everything, right? So and even in cars also you can see the route, right? So the route thing, and it is going to give the exact distance and directions, right? So in a image, a pictorial manner, right? So in everything we are going to use the technology called GPS technology, right? So GPS or the global positioning system is a global navigation satellite system that provides location, velocity and time synchronization. Okay, what we are going to get here? So with help of the satellites, we are going to know the location, and we are going to get velocity and what is the time. All these things we are going to get from the satellite system. So that is called GPS, global positioning system. Okay, GPS is everywhere. You can find a GPS system in your car, in your smartphone, and your watch also. Okay, recently we are going to get the smartwatch, so we are going to getting there. GPS helps you get where you are going from point A to B, right? So from where you started, where you are going, right? So everything it is going to give to us, right? So the global positioning system is a navigation system that using the satellites. Okay, so it is going to use already. I told that in the space we have the satellites. Then a receiver, okay, so like a mobile you have handy, okay, that handy visa, right? That is receiver and algorithms to synchronize the location, okay. So this algorithm synchronization everything will take care by the mobile phone or that particular GPS instrument. It is going to give finally what is our location, right? Then velocity and time data for air, sea and land travel, right? So even if you are traveling a car, you can get the location. Air for airplanes and everything. Okay, so this is going to give you the exact location of aeroplane, and even for the ships, right? Small. So you can know that. Okay, so the people who are going for fishing now, so they will carry GPS instrument so that they can locate their place where you have to go. Okay, so where they are coming from. Everything is there in the GPS instrument. Okay, so nowadays everywhere people are using that, right? So next, the satellite system consists of a constellation of 24 satellites. Okay, so in this thing we already told that satellite system is there. Okay, so in that satellite system Okay, so it is a constellation of 24 satellites will be there in 6 Earth-centered orbits planes. Okay, so each thing will have 4 satellites at 4, so that 6 4s are 24 with 4 satellites orbiting around 13,000 miles or 20,000 kilometers above the Earth and traveling at a speed of 8,700 meters per hour. Okay, so that 14,000 kilometer per hour with that speed. Okay, it is going to revolve around the Earth, right? So while we only need 3 satellites to produce the location of Earth, right? So we need only 3 satellites at a time to give the location on the Earth's surface. A 4th satellite is often used to validate the information from the other 3, right? So basically we need 3, but one more satellite will be needed to validate the information whether that is correct or not with the help of the 4th thing. So totally we are going to have the 4 satellites in the case of GPS, right? So the 4th satellite also moves us into the 3rd dimension and allows us to calculate the altitude of the device. Even it can tell the altitude of the device, what is your height from the Earth surface. Okay, so we need totally 4 satellites to give the location of your place, right? Next, the 3 elements of the GPS. Okay, so we know that, so it is going to have 3 elements. Okay, so the segments are called space satellites. From first of all, we need satellites in the space, so that they are going to, with the help of that, we are going to locate our thing. Next, we have the ground control of these satellites, right? So satellites cannot work, right, independently. From ground, we have the space stations. From there, we are going to control the movement and the orbit of the particular satellite. For that, we need ground control. And finally, the thing, it is going to utilize thing, no? So that is called user equipment, like mobile phone, like GPS instrument. Everything is needed to use those kind of facility. Okay, so finally we have these 3 basic segments of GPS. Okay, so first of all we see space. Space means satellites. The satellites circulating the Earth, transmitting the signals to users on a geographic position on the time of delay, right? This is the Earth, right? So if you are locating, standing here from the surface, what is called satellites, right? It is going to give you the signals, right? So next, ground control. The ground segment is made up of Earth-based monitor stations, master control stations, and ground antennas. Okay, antennas will be there, control station will be there, then monitor stations will be there. Control activities including tracking and operating the satellites in the space and monitoring the transmission. Okay, the working will be completely observed with the help of this ground control. There are monitoring stations on the almost every continent in the world, right? So everywhere we are going to set up our monitoring stations, including North and South America, Africa, Europe, Asia, and Australia. In every continent we have these ground control stations. Okay. Now user equipment. So GPS receivers and transmitters, including items like watches, smartphones, and telemetric devices. So many things. Finally, what purpose we are going to do now? So for that we need user equipment. So these are the basic segments of GPS. So that can be explained in this figure, right? The first space segment, those are the satellites which are going to revolve around the Earth, that is there in the space, right? So this space, from the space, okay, so the signals can be transmitted and it can be controlled by the monitor stations, and we have the antennas, right? So these are the ground segments, okay? So finally, this is the master station, okay? So we will get signals coming, going outside, everything. Then by making of this, we have the user segment where we are going to use the exact use of this GPS with help of all mobiles and the GPS instrument. Okay, how does GPS technology will work, right? So what is the principle behind it, right? So GPS works through a technique called triangulation. Okay, so it is going to work the principle called trilateration. It is used to calculate location. It is going to calculate velocity and elevation. Trilateration collects signals from the satellites to the output location information. It is often mistaken, right? So mistaken from triangulation, which is used to measure the angles, not the distances, right? It's going to give the distance. Now, satellites orbiting the Earth send signals to read and interpret by the GPS device. Okay, to the GPS device, this satellites is going to bring the signals, right? Situated near the Earth's surface to calculate the location. A GPS device must be able to read the signal from the at least 4 satellites. Okay, so receiver has to read the signals from the 4 satellites so that it is going to display what is the exact location, what is your latitude and altitude is going to given there, right, in the instrument. Each satellite in the network circles around the Earth twice a day, right? So every day it is going to have the 2 revolutions around the Earth, and each satellite sends unique signal, orbital parameters and the time. At any given moment, a GPS device can read signals from the 6 or more satellites. Okay, maximum number is 6, minimum at least we need 4 satellites to locate a point on the Earth, right? So next, a signal satellite broadcasts a microwave signal which picked up by the GPS device, right? So microwave signals are going to collect by the GPS device and use it to calculate the distance from the GPS device to the satellite. Since a GPS device is only use the information about the distance from the satellite, and the signal satellite cannot provide much location information, right? It is going to give the location only, not it is going not to provide much details. Satellites do not offer information about angles. Okay, it won't give angle. So the location of the GPS device could be anywhere on the sphere of the surface, right? Next, when a satellite sends a signal, it creates a circle with radius measured from the GPS device to the circle, or what is called satellite. It is going to create a circle. When we add a second satellite, it is going to create a second circle, and the location is narrowed down one of the 2 points where the circles are going to intersect. Whenever circle is rotated, no, examined, no. So one circle is like this, another circle is like this, no. So whenever it is going to what is called intersect, no, this is the location of the point, right? So the star satellite, the device's location can finally determined as the device at the intersection of 3 circles. Again, one more circle will be drawn, right? So 1, 2, 3, all 3 will be intersected one location. It is going to give the exact location of that particular device. Okay, that side we live in 3-dimensional world, which means that 3 satellites produce a sphere, not a circle, right? It is not going to give a circle, it is going to produce a sphere, right? The intersection of 3 spheres produced 2 points of intersection, so that the point near Earth is chosen, right? So whichever near to the Earth, it is that point you are going to choose, right? So that you have to see, right? So you can see here, this is the satellite 1, it is going to create a circle, and satellite 2 having another one more circle, and then third one also is going to create a circle. So wherever these circles are what is called intersected at one location, like these 2 points will get. So from where these points are located near to the Earth, that point will be chosen for the what is called to give the location of a object, right? So a device moves, the radius changes when the so a device moves, the radius will be changes. Okay, so it is going to change the radius. When the radius changes, new spheres are produced, giving a new position, right? So you are going to get the new spheres, so that you are going to get the new position. You can use the data, right, combined with the time from the satellite to determine the velocity, to calculate the distance to our destination and the estimated place. Okay, time of arrival, right? Estimated time of arrival. So next, what are the different uses of GPS, right? So GPS is a powerful and dependable tool for business and organizations in many different industries, right? So many industries is going to be used. Like it is going to be used by surveyors for the surveying purpose, scientists, pilots in the airplane and helicopters to locate the exact location of the airplane, then boat captains to know the movement and as well as the position of on the earth, what is called on the oceans or seas, and the first responders and the workers in the mining, right, agriculture, are just some of the people who uses the GPS on a daily basis for the work, right? These are the regular, they are going to use this kind of GPS. They use GPS information for preparing accurate surveys and for the maps, taking precise time measurements, then tracking the position or a location, and for a navigation on the oceans and rivers. GPS works at all times in almost all weather conditions. Okay, so satellite signals will be available for 24 hours, 365 days. Even it is a cold climate, even it is a rainy season, right? So even it is a winter season, right? Summer season, it won't depend upon the weather, but every time it is going to work. So we can get the data always from the satellites. Okay, so that is most trusted technology for the locating your location, right? Next, the 3 or 5 main uses of GPS. The first thing is to locate the location or position of a point, and for navigation to get one location to another location by road, air, and as well as the water transport. Then tracking to monitor object or personal movement. Okay, how they are moving. Okay, in which direction they are moving. Those things will get tracked like a Google map. Then mapping to create the map of the world, right? So even for timing purpose also you are going to make with help of these satellites. Even if you buy a mobile nowadays, you no need to set up the time automatically from network. It is going to take and it is going to give the exact timing. If you check the timings in your smart mobile phone, it will be same for all, right? So like that going to get from the GPS only, right? Some of specific example of GPS are include emergency response. The first thing is emergency response. During the emergency responses like tufans and as well as the tsunamis, right? So earthquakes, at every time of that, right? The first responders use the GPS for mapping. So where the incident happened, for that purpose it will be useful. And following the predicting the weather. Okay, we are going to predict the weather and keeping the track of emergency personals, right? So for that purpose mainly it will be used. Then entertainment. GPS can be incorporated into games and activities like Pokemon Go and Geo coaching. Then health and fitness. Smartwatches and wearable technology can be tracked fitness. Okay, we have a fitness badge. Now, how many steps you walked today, right? How much distance you ran, how much height you climbed. Like that, every technology is going to get from this health and fitness in point of view. Then in the construction, mining, and off-road trucking. Okay, so everything is be possible. Then we have to going to use in the transportation. Okay, for the locating your tracking your what is called things, right? So everything is going to tell. Okay, you are going to track the truck also, right? So where it is going, when it will become, what time it will get, have the time of arrival. Okay, for train also nowadays you are going to get in the mobile, no? So live tracking of the train. So how much time it will take from one point to reach the another station. Those things already will be done with help of the GPS only, right? So you can see the broad application of this GPS nowadays, right? So now other industries like the GPS can be used include agriculture, autonomous vehicles, sales and services, the military, mobile communications, and security, and as well as controller, fishing purpose also they are going to use, right? The fishermen will take GPS thing and they can go leave from the shore to into the middle of the sea. From there they can come back accurately their own location without going anywhere with help of the GPS technology, right? So this is all about the GPS technology. So GPS technology means global positioning system. So it is going to help work based on the satellite systems, and we have a ground control system, and we have a GPS devices like mobile phones and other kind of devices. Okay, so with help of these segments we are going to locate the time, okay, time, position, and velocity of a particular object. Okay, so this is all about GPS, right? So thank you.